Wow, is Bitcoin about to explode higher? Hello, this is ChartGPT. You know, Bitcoin recently has kind of got a little bit more life in it recently, and so people are all getting all excited. So it's interesting about Bitcoin enthusiasts. When it goes up a little bit, they all get excited. When it goes down a bit, they just say, oh, it'll come back. That's always the way kind of trading works sometimes. But first of all, let's take a look at some things going on here. The halving rate is what, about every 4 years, and probably will extend even wider as we move forward here. You can see every 4 years the amount of bitcoins you can mine goes down because we're running out of bitcoins to mine. Was it 23 million or something like that? So this is working against the Bitcoin miners. So the mining is becoming more and more only for professionals that really know how to crank through the algorithm. Of course, the thing that kind of happened late last year, this year, we don't know exactly the timing, is that Elon Musk and I guess it was his group sold a massive amount of Bitcoin, which has affected recently the markets. Some people think, if you see down here, there's an analysis that says he's trying to sell Bitcoin in favor of his Dogecoin. A bit of a scam going on there, perhaps. But we're looking at some of the confirmed transaction data. You can see that something kind of kicked off the market earlier this year, and it could have been this phenomenon. And you can see that even though these transactions rose, they certainly didn't help the pricing, so it indicates distribution. Here you can see the market over the last has been fairly high. You can see that little bubble there. That could have been all the Elon Musk trading and back and forth trading as well. But we've had some of the low volumes recently here, so maybe that phenomenon is over, and that's causing some transaction fees to pop up. It seems like every time something like that happens, you see the transaction fees pop up because it's so thinly traded, and so a lot of people that use it tend to be what a lot of people think is in third world countries. Not necessarily illegal, but I'd call it illegal / government workarounds, like especially in African countries, South America, India, all these countries. They use Bitcoin to get around transfer of payments out of their country because the governments block them, and so they use the Bitcoin. And of course, what keeps them going is the Bitcoin exchanges. If they ever shut down, that'll pretty much kill the Bitcoin. You have to go into a black market kind of a thing, and that'll make it very difficult for the average user. The point is that most crypto exchanges, it's very going to be more and more difficult to use it as a mechanism of payment, and that's what's going to hurt it. You can see here that there's what they claim here. Of course, that's what you look at the source, the UN. They claim nearly $1 to $2 trillion every year is basically illegal transaction. Of course, that's a fairly small amount in the global amount, but nevertheless, this is what the UN and the globalists and the people in the central banks believe. So let's read it and weep it. This is my view on Bitcoin. I know there'll be a lot of consternation. Nobody will like this chart, but this is my view. I think we're going to be bouncing back and forth, maybe on the range on the downside of 15, 20,000, on the upside maybe 40. And I think we'll be bouncing in and out over time until government authorities begin to clamp down on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. Of course, your opinion on whether that'll happen or not is anyone's guess, but my principle-based view is that will eventually happen. Now, that being said, even though that's a 50 to 70% risk, there's a 30 to 50% risk that a black swan event will happen, and if something very tragic happens in the world, you could get a pretty good spike, but then it would trail off rather quickly. Something might happen. So a Bitcoin investor or speculator is basically waiting for a black swan event to happen in order to really cash in big. I don't see, because of the adoption rate, it's just in terms of the public, it's just never going to get some of these ridiculous amount, like $1 million for a Bitcoin. Who's going to pay for that? Which keeps me back to basic principles, regardless of the technology itself. Some people feel that the central banks allowed it to go as far as it has in order for the people to develop the technology so they can then see how it works, so they then can develop their own CBDCs, only to then basically make illegal the other that are more private. Bottom line is, it's it's in the U.S. Constitution. Only government has the power to coin money, and they're not going to give that power because it's the golden goose. It really is the golden goose. And you might think, well, that's not good. I agree with you, but that's not the point. I'm not the one making decisions, am I? Governments do, and they will make sure that over time you're going to see cryptos being outlawed, because you're basically coining money, and they don't want to give that power to you. Was it Thomas Jefferson said, "I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies," and he's right. But the point is, governments are getting more and more controlling. I mean, they're controlling hate speech, whether you take a vax or anything like that. So they're not going to let you. They're just simply not going to let you have that power. And I know a lot of crypto enthusiasts think they will, but they won't. And of course, I'll leave you with this final thought there from Voltaire: paper money eventually returns to its intrinsic value, zero. And basically, Bitcoin is a fiat currency, regardless of what you think. It's not the same as gold. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just digits on a piece of paper or in a computer. It's the same thing. Check out our AI in terms of what it thinks about potential criminal and illegal activities of cryptos. And take our online poll. Am I wrong? Is crypto going to go to the moon? Don't forget to subscribe.